Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for taking the time to stop and watch this video. We are going to be looking very harshly at WWE SuperCard today, and we are going to try and keep a unbiased as I possibly can even, view of the game. Why, in my opinion, there needs to be some very big wholesale changes. This is going to be some real hard-hitting home truths. Not just for us, as in the viewers, the players, the communities that play this game. This is also going to be a very harsh message, a reality check as such from my perspective as a player on SuperCard itself. And that is why I titled this video, The Harsh Reality About WWE SuperCard. We're going to break it down right now. If you agree with the points that are in this, please let me know, A, in the comment section, and B, hit a like on the video. I only ask for your support and that's it. Subscribe to the channel if you want to see more videos about SuperCard, 2K20 and everything else. All that good jazz. Let's get right into it though. And as I said, comments, just hit me up in the comments what your thoughts are about all the points I'm about to make. And if I go into a ramble, I apologize. I do have a script as such to give you because I had to make some points to get this across as cleanly as possible without going into too much opinion. So let's stick to the fact, and that is the WWE SuperCard, believe it or not, through everything that we've gone through with Season 6, halfway through this season as we are now, just about to hit WrestleMania tier, hasn't changed a lot. Despite putting numerous layers upon layers upon layers into the game system, we are still in a position where multiple game modes, multiple new game modes, as well as multiple features, pretty much the same. Now, between Season 1 and Season 2 was the biggest change in the game. They removed the older style cards, which did have, if you do remember, and you may have seen in your free packs, we'll go to, let's say, the 1, 2, 3 kids probably, is it? No? Yeah, 1, 2, 3 kid. Probably the best way to check straight away. You had the old style cards, which had the stats with the pro, and there was no requirement to play games. All you had to do was level your cards up. Then moved on to Season 3, 4, and 5, which if I show you here, for example, you've got the tokens, the enhancements, and that was brought in Season 2. That was obviously then increased, but along the way, the whole idea about enhancements and tokens just kind of got lost. In Survivor tier, Legendary tier, WrestleMania tier in Season 2, those tokens and enhancements meant something. Like, really meant something. You had to really strategize. It wasn't so much about card collecting. If you wanted to win, you had to really think about how you leveled up and trained your cards. But over time, as the tiers got bigger and bigger and bigger, and I think it was about some point during WrestleMania 33 tier or SummerSlam tier in Season 3, that just kind of became just a part of playing the game. There was no actual benefit because everyone knew that you just trained the cards in the best stats. And if you had some of the really, really good cards, like let's just say Brock Lesnar, John Cena, Roman Reigns, then those pretty much beat anyone anyway, regardless of what you did. Whereas back in the early parts of Season 2, when the tokens and enhancements came in, you could level one card. For example, I had a Page Legendary card Pro Season 2 that beat the best card in the tier in 3 stats. I had a Sasha Banks in Survivor tier, beat the best card in the tier in 3 stats, because instead of going for the strongest, you go for the stats that are going to beat the best cards. And that's where there was a lot of strategy involved. But to stick to the point, a lot of that kind of faded away. But halfway through going into Titan tier, SummerSlam 17 tier, and since then it was kind of a bit stale. Season 4 to Season 5 was just kind of play by numbers. In Season 6, gone were the requirements of doing every single stat. You just had to play 100 matches, and it brought in the Performance Center, which is probably one of the best things I've ever brought into the game. Just gonna say. Although I still suggest they do really need to sort out the fact that the gym workouts still cost credits. That's just a mess. Especially now you can easily level up your cards if you're in Royal Rumble tier. It just seems like a cheap way of nickel and diming people. If you don't know what that means, nickel and diming means taking a very small amount of money from people, and if you get more, basically everyone does it, or as many people as possible do it, then it makes a large amount of money, which they can then use to get more nickel and diming and do more tiny microtransactions. It's how the very cheap packs work with the very large odds. So from like Goliath to all the way to Royal Rumble tier. I hope that makes sense. Cards, the way you level, etc. kind of has had a devolution, not a evolution or a revolution. What they did in Season 6 is try to make things simpler. And actually what they've really done is just kind of made it harder to level up cards. And then made it easier. And then brought these enhancements in, which they were getting rid of. Which are the training cards. And those aren't much good either, again, unless you're in Royal Rumble tier. Kind of beats the purpose of it, doesn't it? Now we move on to the events. Now this, I'm going to be brutal. Like, brutally honest. Okay. Since Season 1. Season 1 started off with PCC. Then we got Road to Glory. Then we got Ring Domination. Now, if I told you that since the end of Season 1, maybe going to Season 2, I think maybe the first couple of events in Season 2 were a little bit lower. Neither Road to Glory nor Ring Domination have actually changed one bit. The only thing that's been added is the Heroic mode. Not one change. They did try some changes out for SummerSlam 19 tier, and then they've dropped those suddenly for, again, no reason that they've disclosed. They did bring in the team events, Team Ring Domination, Team Road to Glory. Again, no changes there. So you can understand why people maybe are saying it's a little bit stale. So I'm going to allow you guys to make your own opinions about that. But let's look at the new events. Then in Season 4, they brought in Last Man Standing. Started off pretty badly, but it has kind of leveled itself out. But I'm going to give you, again, 2 seasons now. 2 seasons. 2 years almost. It's not changed a bit. Despite the complaints from multiple people that it's too tough, that the deck balancing is an issue. Despite the questions that should it be looked into, and unfortunately seems to be falling on deaf ears. Then they brought in Giants Unleashed, and despite some problems, that's kind of become an irregular game mode, which actually I'm quite disappointed by. Because at the beginning of Season 6, they did listen to the feedback, but it's barely ever around now. And it used to be actually quite a popular event mode. So where is it, and why isn't it being used? Before that, they brought in Over the Limit, and, well, that went down well, didn't it? We've only seen it 3 times. We haven't seen it once during Season 6. Then we have the latest event, Team Roadblock. Team Roadblock kinda, well, the first event really had problems. But the second event, this one, I'll have a rough idea of what's changed, if anything's changed. But I still don't think this suits SuperCard. It's something brand new. It's something that they've got to tweak, but the rapid motion would be okay for a single player. But when you're looking at doing global leaderboards, it's tough, man. It's tough. And you could say that at the moment, they brought out a game mode that is pretty much pay to win in Last Man Standing. They brought game mode out in Over the Limit, which has been a complete failure. They brought out Giants Unleashed, which they don't use. And they've brought out Team Roadblock, which again, based on what we know is going to change and what's not going to change, is another pretty much a failure. And Ring Domination, Road to Glory, and LMS have all stayed the same. Not to mention Team Battleground hasn't changed, and on top of that, the rewards in the game have remained pretty much the same. They've actually reduced the odds of getting good cards from it, and they've completely ignored the Battleground store. Money in the Bank, almost a pointless exercise now. There's only one group of players that benefit from these cards other than image collectors, and those are the group that need these cards to level up, despite it becoming harder to get these for those kind of players. So the rewards cannot be fortified. You can only get 2 of them every single time, which is one of the biggest features of Season 6. Not to mention this idea that fortification could happen for Money in the Bank cards. It happens for the special cards, which are better than the Money in the Bank cards. There's no consistency over the message that the game's giving. It's either they want enhancements, then they don't want enhancements, then they do want enhancements again, then you've got the leveling, which is inconsistent between the different tiers. Then you've got game modes being almost discarded to one side, despite giving people chances to get good cards. From not just a personal standpoint, and this is going to be where a little bit of opinion is going to creak in, the game is a mess. Complete jumbled mess. I'm actually surprised that at this point it's still working efficiently. It feels like it's kind of held together by lots of pieces of tape, and they're just adding stuff to it to stop it becoming stale. And slowly but surely those layers are being worn down, and you're getting the base game, which is old, decrepit, needs massive work, and some of it hasn't changed for 5 years. Fusion Chamber is something that's actually evolved and has allowed people to get 2 more than 1 fusion done at the same time. It's got legacy fusions, the special fusions work, so that has been great. PvP modes. This all started to unravel around about Royal Rumble time. Royal Rumble came in, they doubled the points, they made it fun, they made it they're more reasonable. Apart from the more hardcore players, most people only play Royal Rumble. And maybe a little bit of Elimination Chamber. War's just identical to Wild Mode, and I don't understand why they're basically both the same. And even then, since Season 4, this hasn't changed. I mean, where's the male Elimination Chamber? That's not been brought in. The only thing that has changed is when Royal Rumble occurred in 2018, they brought in Women's Royal Rumble. But where's the men's Elimination Chamber, considering that was started off as a male event? Back to Team Battleground. That has not changed in 3 years. Despite multiple glitches being in the game still, if you draw a Team Battleground, both sides lose. Which is another massive issue. They increased the team size. And again, it just felt like they were just they're just bandaging it up. It's almost like it was wounded because it was getting too bruised, so they just kind of wrapped it up a little bit and just stuck a brand new thing on it. The nice bells and whistles are there, but is the gameplay actually changed? No. There's been multiple different things in WWE that have come in over the last couple of years. Mixed Match Challenge, yet the female superstars are still lower than the men's superstars in terms of ultimate overall stats. No mixed matches in War, Wild, in the different event modes on a weekly basis. I got myself an epic card. Sweet. Triple H. Don't need it, but I'll take it. The packs, considering it's a mobile game based on other mobile games as well, are ridiculously priced. Free packs have evolved. Those are great. The pack store, in terms of the smaller packs, are also a good addition. But they've brought in things like 2 ways to win. Even I will say the quest like the Adam Cole and Hacksaw Jim Duggan, those kind of things need to stop. Not sure why they're so pay to win. Overall, the game feels messy. I think other than Team Roadblock this week, I've covered off everything in the game. Which leads me to the harsh reality about WWE SuperCard. Is that despite the game running for nearly 6 years, For 5 of the years, not much has changed, and anything they have changed usually ends up in failure. As harsh as it is, needs to be said. Now, there could be an argument if Cat Daddy, 2K are building a brand new SuperCard in the background, and the reason they've not changed much and they've kind of been plastering and just adding layers is just to keep the current game interesting while something's going on in the background. But we thought that for the last 2 seasons. We thought there was going to be a reset or a game change or some kind of big moment. And yet, all we've seen so far, especially Season 6, I'll give it as an example, is just plastering on more layers and more cracks are starting to appear. The game is a mess. They can add more tiers as they like. They can add more features. At the beginning of Season 6, there was brand new players coming in. This idea that it was going to be so much better for the casual player. And they've almost done a complete 180 and just decided, you know what? Just more of the same. More of the same. And it's really, really disappointing. It's what's been happening in the game and it's what's going on right now. Leave your thoughts in the comments down below. Hit a like if you agree. Subscribe. I've been SuperZomGBBQ. You have been awesome and I'll see you in the next one.